All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we are unpacking a modern-day literary mystery surrounding one of the world's most prestigious writing awards. We're going to be looking at a completely fascinating case study by Jenna Russell over at Pangram Labs, and it really details how the boundary between human creativity and artificial intelligence is literally blurring right in front of our eyes. If you care at all about the future of art, writing, or honestly, if you just love a really good digital detective story, you are definitely going to want to stick around for this. So, we kick off this story with some incredibly glowing human praise. The Commonwealth Foundation actually published this exact description for a story called The Serpent in the Grove by Jamir Nazir. They described it as this moving tale set in rural Trinidad about a struggling farmer, a silenced young wife, and a grove that seems to remember what others try to bury. I mean, it sounds absolutely beautiful, right? The judges sure thought so, and they awarded it a highly coveted regional winner title for its lyrical precision. It seems like a brilliant testament to the human spirit. Well, hold that thought. Because when that exact same haunting, lyrically precise story was run through Pangram Labs' AI detection software, it didn't just flag a couple of weird paragraphs here and there. Nope. It came back with a score of 100%. The software identified the entire story as completely artificial, zero human writing. It's a staggering finding, right? It immediately takes us from celebrating this talented new author to suddenly uncovering a massive, massive deception. Now, you might be wondering, what are the stakes here? Well, they're incredibly high. The Commonwealth Short Story Prize isn't just some local library contest. It is a massive, worldwide award that highlights authors across the entire Commonwealth. Real reputations and real money are on the line here. Regional winners take home roughly $3,350, and the overall winner walks away with about $6,700. The 2026 regional winners were proudly announced on May 16th, and everyone naturally assumed these funds were going to exceptionally talented human beings. But the inciting incident of this whole investigation actually played out entirely in the open on social media. Just 2 days after those winners were announced, on May 18th, writer Nabil S. Qureshi posted a tweet straight up calling out Jamir Nazir's The Serpent in the Grove. He pointed out these glaring markers of AI writing. If you've spent any time reading ChatGPT outputs, you probably know the exact vibe. Specifically, its overuse of the not X, not Y, but Z sentence structure, and of course, its weird obsession with the word hums. Qureshi basically declared this a major milestone for AI, noting that a ChatGPT-generated story had literally just won a prestigious literary prize. Well, this public suspicion prompted an immediate digital forensics check. Another user online, going by the handle @allgarbled, decided to take Qureshi's hunch a step further and actually ran the text of the story through Pangram Labs' detection tool. And that is exactly where that shocking 100% artificial score came from. It confirmed the story wasn't just, heavily edited by AI, it was entirely generated by it. And that singular accusation opens up a much, much larger question. I mean, if a 100% AI-generated story could slip right past the esteemed judges of the Commonwealth Foundation in 2026, could others have done exactly the same thing? Luckily, the foundation hosts a convenient online archive of every regional story winner dating all the way back to 2012. So the researchers at Pangram decided to run all of those historical winning stories through their system to find out. Before we get to the historical data, let's quickly define what Pangram software is actually measuring here. They use a metric called the fraction AI percentage. It's pretty straightforward. It's calculated by taking the number of specific segments in a text that the software flags as AI and dividing it by the total number of segments in the entire document. It just gives us a very clear, quantifiable look at how much of a text was built by a machine versus a human. So, when we map out that historical data, the contrast is honestly staggering. For over a decade, from 2012 all the way through 2024, it is an unbroken sea of 0% AI usage, just humans writing human stories. But then, that piece is suddenly shattered. We see these glaring spikes hitting in 2025 and 2026 across multiple regions, jumping from 0 straight up into the high 80s and 100s. And this perfectly illustrates the true breadth of the issue. When we really zoom in on the 2026 regional winners, we see it wasn't just an isolated incident over in the Caribbean. 3 out of the 5 regional winners showed massive signs of AI usage. Alongside Jamir Nazir's 100% AI story, John Edward Dimicoli from Malta, representing Canada and Europe, submitted a story called The Bastion Shadow that flagged at exactly 100% too.
And in the Asia region, Sharon Aruparayal's Mendi Nights came back with an 89% AI fraction. Over half of the regional winners that year were effectively authored by machines.
But wait, it actually gets crazier. Because this infiltration, it didn't stop at the regional level. Let's rewind just 1 year to 2025. The highest honor of the entire competition that year went to a story that Pangram believes is primarily generated by artificial intelligence. Chanel Sutherland, representing Canada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, actually won the overall worldwide prize for her story Descend. She was awarded the top prize of roughly $6,700. However, Pangram's analysis flagged Descend with an AI fraction of 88%. So while there is some human-written content in there, the document was overwhelmingly generated by an AI. The very pinnacle of this literary institution was essentially claimed by artificial intelligence a full year before the Twitter controversy even happened. It's wild to think that what started as a simple tweet pointing out a few repetitive sentences unraveled into a reality where our most prestigious literary awards are actively funding and celebrating artificial intelligence. I'm going to leave you to ponder what this all means for the future of creativity. How are institutions going to adapt to protect the integrity of human art? And honestly, is the next haunting, lyrically precise story you fall in love with going to be human at all? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and hey, keep questioning what you read.